a funny tidbit. I was seeing this guy on Twitter. I'm following. Whatever. He's like, I want to make wife changing money. and I
Oh my
found that quite
gosh.
funny. Yeah. I was like, that is the pinnacle, right? Like wife changing.
Life changing money, jeez.
Nobody move and nobody gets hurt. This is a stick up by Jerry and Adrian, the Legalized Robbery podcast.
And with the one and only Romanian stallion, Adi. And we're here to discuss everything on how to beat the odds in the stock market in the crypto world. How are you doing today, Adi?
Good. I'm okay, but in general, I've just I've been working a lot. It's not like bad, but I've been working a lot. So yeah, and yeah, going to the gym and stuff. I've been quite busy actually, which is not a bad thing. But yeah, it's there's a slight pressure. But yeah, other than that, I'm okay. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, that's the struggle, right? Being young and full of ambition, but yeah, just got to make sure you don't burn out or something, because
No.
that's just as easy.
Yeah, nothing like that. Just I have been working in actually in the sense that I'm feeling good about myself. Like I have
Okay,
not been
okay, in a
slacking.
positive
So
way.
it's a
Yeah,
positive way. I do feel
gotcha.
tired, but in a positive way, I have not been wasting time, which is nice.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Pretty chill day. I did quite a few workouts, so today is a recovery day for me,
Cool.
and work is good. Um, I'm still waiting to move houses real soon.
Mm.
Just got a loads of admin stuff on my table before I make the final move. But yeah, enough of that because nobody's interested in our
Well,
personal
uh,
lives. Maybe.
yeah. Just
What were
to
you gonna say?
actually, yeah, to extend what we spoke about, I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think 2 weeks ago maybe, regarding my thing. I've been dealing and going through some more admin stuff
Yeah.
regarding bank accounts and shit. Like I don't think I told you about this, or I don't think I spoke about this last time. But I have
No.
this bank account, and it's in euros, right? So uh, I'm getting paid in euros, and it's a Romanian bank account paid in euros. So I'm getting this sum of money, and I try to exchange it. Obviously, I tried. I didn't actually exchange it just to see the fee. Then I compared it to an average exchange rate on the internet, and then I compared it to Revolut. So my bank compared to
Revolut.
yes to Revolut compared to Revolut is 0.5% more. And if you think about the sum of money, that can quite ramp up. And
Oh yeah.
what I did is I bought Revolut Premium, which is $10 a month, and the difference is 1% versus my bank. So I'm making
Little
super
arbitrage.
good. Yes, but yeah, arbitrage in the sense that
I
I'm
guess you
not
could call
fucking
it that.
losing money.
Yeah.
So we know who's doing the legalized robbery, and it's not us. But no, seriously, yeah. So
Yeah.
I was quite surprised, actually 1%. I was like, dude, 1%
It's
just
quite
to
a bit.
change. Yeah, to move money from one bank to another. Now, I imagine, because I think we haven't talked about Revolut on the platform, or for that matter, probably any.
Banking.
But it's
Fiat
not.
banking.
It's more than that. It's fintech, because I think
Yes.
we spoke about this personally. From what I understand, basically what Revolut does is they don't actually move any money around. They have the money in their accounts, and basically if I want to pay something, I want to exchange euros to dollars, I don't actually have an account where I have euros and I have dollars. I think they just credit their internal database, and then when I try to spend it, then they spend it from one of their accounts. So I don't think they're actually moving any money around,
Interesting. And
or
how
they're.
and how do you know this, or is this just something you're assuming?
I'm not sure if I'm assuming or if I actually read this, but since there is no, with premium, right, with Revolut Premium, basically the exchange fee is inexistent in their prompt. However, even
Right.
compared to like online converters, it's either super small or again inexistent, which doesn't make sense because yes, moving money around has costs. So they either have an overlay on top of their already existing banking system, or they have special banking privileges in the sense that they're based in Lithuania. And actually, I've seen a lot of crypto projects and fintech projects being based in Lithuania. I don't know what the fuck they're doing in Lithuania, but I'm assuming they have good banking regulations because a lot of companies have their headquarters there. So this
Right.
is a bit of legalized robbery thing here, in the sense that yes, with Revolut Premium for a fixed rate, which again is $10, you can pretty much avoid exchange fees. And I was actually thinking, I'm not sure if this is legal. I'm obviously not going to do it, but I could be like a legal. We call them in Romania. The word is cămătar. And I don't even know how to say it
Are
in
you trying to
English, but it's
shill Revolut to
no,
your
no, no.
fellow
Listen.
Romanians?
Listen. No,
You
listen.
onboard them to Revolut,
No, no,
unofficial,
listen.
unofficial
No. Dude.
representative of Revolut.
No, I could have people send me money in lei, right? I would exchange them to euros and charge a smaller fee than Revolut does.
Believe it or not. Oh, you mean Revolut's basic account does?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because, dude,
Okay.
again, the difference is 0.5% with the
Yeah, this
premium
is
tier.
quite. Yeah, it's quite something. If you don't. Yeah.
And the bank transfer between accounts is free. So I can put the money inside Revolut with my card and then do a bank transfer to myself in whatever currency, and the bank transfer is free.
Crazy.
But it's probably illegal in the sense that I'm probably not
Yeah,
allowed
now-
to exchange currency. So yeah.
And now that you told us of your plans on a podcast that will be distributed on YouTube, I think
Yes.
the authorities
Maybe not.
will
Maybe
will
not.
use this against you in the court of law.
But no, honestly, this is like business tricks I'm
No, it's
learning right
definitely
now,
true.
you know?
It's definitely true,
Yeah.
and there's definitely people out there doing that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And is weird that you can make money just off of that sort of information advantage and disadvantage, right? Because the only thing separating you from whoever doesn't have that 0.5% is that information, that piece of information that Revolut Premium does that.
Yeah. No,
So,
because
yeah.
it would have been super easy for me to just click convert and have my money instantly from euros to Romanian lei like that in the same
Yeah.
bank. But that would have been 1%, just like right there. And yeah, of course, if you think about investing 1%, if invest something, if it has a good day, it goes up 1%. Okay, you covered your loss. But why would you do that? When you can have no loss. But still, anyways, I just
Absolutely.
thought I would share because I think it's interesting and it's saving me some money, which I don't think I should give them. So yeah.
Yeah, it is weird how banks can get away with all of these sort of little interest charges and small sort of yields and stuff. I mean, small yields are not even the problem. I guess it's just the interest charges for random stuff, like getting money off of an ATM,
Mm-hmm.
or sending it to another country or something like that. Like it's weird how they can get that much money. Or the worst thing is those late fees and overdraft charges. That's
Yeah.
literally making money out of nothing.
Yeah.
They didn't provide a necessary service or anything to claim that or that amount.
And the thing is, it's usually from people who cannot actually afford anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of sad. I actually have a credit card as well, and like the terms say, they can only overcharge me 50% more than my total amount, which is quite small. It's like 200 euros. So potentially
Right.
the maximum I would ever have to pay is 300 euros. Probably they would sue me at 300 euros, but they wouldn't charge me more, which I was like, okay, that's not the worst thing in the world, you know? But yeah, I imagine there are banks who do much more predatory shit than this. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the name of the game.
But also, since we're here regarding fees, again, this is legalized robbery, but this is like subtle legalized robbery is fees and spreads on crypto exchanges. And one of my friend from eToro, he was doing some digging into this because he's like, these fees are incredible in the sense that you lose 2, 3, 4% from fiat to crypto, which depends on which crypto you want. But that's also quite something, you know. It's like the on ramp to crypto is not cheap.
Yeah, and that's one big critique of crypto in the sense that um, the decentralized finance space has been getting away with some like incredible fees that would make people in the fintech world salivate at the mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is one critique in and that's not even to take away from the fact that sort of Web 3.0 and all of the innovation that they're doing with wallets, with being able to sort of connect wallets on different websites and have all of your transactional information on there available. That's not to take away from how innovative that is. But one aspect that you can really criticize in crypto is the extortionate fees. Um, Primarily on Ethereum, but it's really across the board. In the fiat world, so to say, you couldn't get away with like crazy fees that you have on crypto with small, um, yeah, shall I say, small exchanges of money.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's the primary thing because for big amounts of money, it's actually
Yeah.
cheaper. Yeah,
Exactly. It's super cheap, dude.
ironically,
It's
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
incredibly
of
cheap.
course, of course,
You
of
could
course.
send millions, billions, maybe
Yeah, yeah,
for a
true.
very low amount. Yeah,
Yeah, the same amount basically. So the amount is fixed.
pretty much.
So
Yeah,
yeah, if the transaction fee is $5 on Ethereum, I think that's the fee right now. You pay
yeah,
$5 whether you send a gazillion Ethereum or not, or you send
true.
one or 0.1. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. But no, the whole point was that I was trying to use Uniswap and 1inch, and they were charging me $100 fees. I was like, what?
Yeah,
What?
I know.
That dude, that makes it unusable. Like, how
Yeah,
much do you have to buy? $1,000 and pay 10%? $10,000 and pay 1%? What? Who the fuck would
yeah.
do that?
But this is exactly where Solana eats their lunch in that regard. Which brings us to our first topic today, actually. In the words of somebody that was on Reddit or some post that I read on Reddit, the Ethereum killer killed itself. So Solana was the Solana killer after having such a winning streak for weeks, close to months. The unthinkable happened, and Solana first was having sort of transactional delays due to intermittent stability issues, as they called it, for sort of everyday language. It just got slow, the blockchain, due to a attack, a bot attack, and that bot attack sent upwards of 400,000 transactions every second. And we know that Solana has a limit of like 60,000 or something like that, or known limit of
65. Or,
60,000,
yeah, like
65,000.
tested.
Yeah.
Stable, something like
So,
that. Yeah.
so obviously, sending 400,000 is going to do something to the network, and yeah, and the issue that a lot of people found here wasn't necessarily that this happened; it was the fact that they were able to go in and manually shut down the blockchain, so to say.
Mhm.
And to the surprise of many of us, including myself, I didn't even know you could shut down a blockchain.
Well,
So, because apparently it was decentralized, meaning that all of it lives on sort of different servers. So yeah, sure, you could say probably they do probably live on different servers, but they probably have some type of authority over those servers. That's why they were able to shut them down like that. So this
so
brings up loads of issues, which I think Adi will bring up in a minute. Um, and yeah, and while I didn't think Solana itself was, the most decentralized coin of all, I was also taken aback by how they were able to sort of go in and make such like executive decision and just manually shut down a blockchain. So yeah, you wanted to say add your 2 cents.
So first off, I think the nuances here are that, from what I understand, a majority of the Solana staking nodes, which I think I saw a number around 1,000, which is actually quite a small number. I don't have this. Uh, yeah, I don't have it at hand, but I think there are other networks who have much more validator nodes. Yeah, the thing is, those 1,000 nodes are, from what I understand, the majority of them are controlled by 4 entities, which are all affiliated with Solana. So it's centralized in the way that it's not central control. However, there is central influence. So basically, they just told those 4 entities, yo, shut your nodes down, restart your nodes. So yeah, it's decentralized but centralized. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
it's
I would say, yeah, sorry,
it's
go.
decentralized. It's decentralized in the sense that the servers are apart from
Yes,
each other in different locations potentially, because we still
yes,
don't know that. It could still be in one
yeah,
building.
yeah,
Who knows? But it seems to me that that's the case, that the servers do live in probably different places and so forth, and that Solana is not like the is not looking after those servers, so to say. Somebody else is, but like you
yeah.
said, they do have influence over them, not necessarily direct control, but even just influence can be considered um, decentral.
Yeah, which and yeah, and also another thing I saw while I was reading about this, because yeah, it was obviously interesting for me, because yeah, everybody knew about Solana and it was pumping and it had low fees and a lot of transactions. That's all great, so it attracted my attention. I understood that it wasn't necessarily the throughput. So it wasn't the number of transactions per second that actually caused the problem, but rather the quantity of data in each transaction, which I haven't gone in so much into it to see how that would be a problem or how you would even affect it. But from what I understand, they had problem storing the whole transaction data. So, and I was like, how does this work with Arweave? Actually, because they use Arweave to store their data. And I was like, was this like an Arweave problem, maybe? Or not?
Oh,
Was it poor transaction count or transaction size? How did they add the extra content to the transaction? So yeah, I haven't done a lot of digging, but this was basically what I was doing, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And yes, as a Solana non-owner but fan, in the sense that I saw their transaction speed and their fee, and that's fucking amazing. I actually used it. It's super fast. Good for them. I was super surprised by the centralized aspect of it, in the sense that I think one of the core tenets of not of blockchain, because blockchain I can do a blockchain by myself in this room and it's mine, but of crypto as a concept is decentralization. And most most tokens who use proof of stake, or not proof of stake, doesn't matter actually, they they put decentralization in front of most of their other core values, because yeah, it's supposed to be unstoppable. Like, I think we also had this conversation. you cannot shut down crypto because there's no centralized point of failure. You cannot shut down the internet. So then, but in this case, it's super simple. I don't know who controls the Solana organization, but if the FBI or the government or I don't know, anybody, the KGB puts a gun to their head, they can shut down Solana. So again, this is not even comparing Solana to other networks, but if they have this centralized control, honestly, me as an individual, I wouldn't promote Solana as one of the best crypto in the world because that's a huge liability. One of the things I actually like about crypto a lot is the fact that yes, potentially you cannot turn it down. And obviously, my biggest holding, well, actually, it's not my biggest now because it got overtaken by eGold, by, what's it called? What's it called, Jerry?
Cardano?
eGold.
Elrond.
Elrond, exactly. I was missing it. Yeah,
Okay,
basically,
okay.
my biggest holding is now Elrond, and after
I
that
didn't
is
know that.
Binance. Yeah, it is now. Well, it grew quite a lot. So yeah, but yeah, Binance it's kind of the same thing. They also claim to be decentralized, and I checked. You can create your own validator nodes, but yeah, pretty much Binance is decentralized in the sense, like we talked with Solana, they have multiple data centers where they actually stake themselves and shit, and probably there are some independent stakers, but it's most certainly centralized, which is it's a point of failure for them. I think they're too big to fail. I think they're one of the best exchanges, so they won't. But they are centralized, and it's probably the reason why they decided to abide by regulations rather than try to be sneaky about it because yeah they can be shut down at least in certain countries, whatever. The whole point was that while I knew this about Binance, I didn't know this about Solana. And Binance was more of a centralized entity to begin with because they are a centralized exchange, so it just surprised me a lot. Yeah, and I think we also talked when we talked about XRP. I think this was one of your rebuttals about investing in XRP, the fact that it's controlled by the company, by Ripple and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
But I
yeah,
mean, the primary reason I was against XRP wasn't just the centralization of it. It was just simply the outright fraud and illegal activity in it. You know, the
okay,
owner tried to sell like 1 billion or something in XRP and just dump on its users. I mean, like some really wild shit. And then the employees had to stop him, and then somebody else tried to do it as well. Like it's just a shit show. But
okay.
but yeah, I don't know. Your take right now seems very leveled versus when we initially discovered that
No,
Solana's centralized.
but
Because my point was also like, how many other coins do you actually think like are centralized? Like a lot. You know, if
but
something like
no,
this would happen to them, my point being was that we just found out about Solana because they really they went to the bleeding edge of what is possible with low fees and fast transaction rates. So in a sense, one of their strengths after this could be knowing how to deal with something like that, because a lot of these coins, they haven't even gotten to the point of having transaction speeds and low fees to the point that they can get attacked like this. um so and this was also what I was wondering, and this is just me sort of talking out loud. Like I don't know, in a grand scheme of things, how complex things are in crypto and so forth, and the structure of coins and the mechanisms behind them and stuff like that. I would still consider myself quite the rookie, and I do wonder what it would look like if Bitcoin Lightning was implemented with these breakneck speeds and low transaction fees, the same as Ethereum, a proof of stake. And that's me commenting simply on on the tech, not on the on the sort of philosophical aspect of decentralization and what that means in terms of financial
Hmm.
sort of permissionless uh, transactions, and not having an intermediary or any central sort of authority that can shut it down, like you said, the FBI or whoever else. I would be interested in what the tech also means. But cycling back to, because I don't want to deviate from your point, we should really be concerned with having truly decentralized solutions. And I think what I mentioned to you was that, if you're looking for truly decentralized coins, and if you're looking truly for security, there's a trade-off that you have to make, and many of us are aware of that. And that the trade-off for security is speed.
But
So
let me.
every time you crank up the speed, you lose security. So in the beginning, I think a lot of people didn't think of Solana in that way, and I think that's part of the reason why Solana didn't crash like that. Because if you really think about it, you can't have high hopes for something that has 65,000 transactions per second to be to be super secure in that sense, from what we know so far.
Yeah, I agree. So I'll just address this point and then go back a bit. The thing is with yeah, what you're saying is true. In order to get speed, you have to sacrifice security. However, in this particular case, this is not it, because usually that security is more about the cryptographic things and how hard it is to certify transaction, and mostly that's the case in proof of work, not as much in proof of stake. In proof of stake, things are faster because you're not computing shit. So, from that perspective, the vulnerability in the Solana ecosystem or whatever coin right now is not the fact that its transaction speed was a vulnerability for their security, but it's just the centralization. Like if Solana now said, yeah, you know what, we own 70% of the network, we're giving away these nodes, anybody can buy one. And then it would be truly decentralized in the sense that they wouldn't have central control, then they wouldn't have this problem. They would, however, have the problem of the fee, because like you said, you can put a number to it. So if the transaction fee is 0.05 cents, 0.05 dollars, which it's 5 cents, you can put a number to it for that 400,000 transactions, right? So from that perspective, you can basically, there were some people who threw some money at this. I'm not sure for what reason. Maybe they were just stress testing. Maybe it was Vitalik and something he was envious. But from that perspective, again, their problem here was the centralization. However, the centralization also helped them, or like saved them, because they could shut it down. Who knows what would have happened if those transactions would have ramped up and would have clogged the network even more?
Yeah,
Because I don't know enough to make much more complex assumptions about how their blockchain works and or how their system works. But yeah, if I were to be a Solana user or holder, I would just want it to be more decentralized, and maybe find a way to cap the transaction count or something, because this can happen again. This has a
yeah,
precedent, so they need to fix this.
yeah. I think a few solutions that were offered were being able to identify um, a single source that those transactions are coming from. Another thing could be to put a fee on congestion. So as soon as it gets congested, just like in Ethereum, unfortunately, the cost to do an attack like that would rise, and therefore, and then sort of it would drop. But that's the problem. Then you would just become Ethereum, basically. and all of the advantages that Solana sort of holds would be lost. And maybe this is something akin to the real world, where, I don't know, Airbnb was invented to finally find out that zoning laws exist. You know, Uber was created to finally find out that you need workers' rights. Like, a lot of this shit is like, you push the envelope and you do something that seems like innovation, and then you suddenly meet reality, and then it sort of sets you back, and you're kind of where you started again.
Hmm.
Um, but obviously, I would hope for Solana that they would find a unique solution to this problem. And I also wanted to speak on you saying sort of proof of stake. Yeah, sure, proof of stake, but Solana is a little bit more complex than that, I'd imagine, because they also have their novel sort of solution, which is proof of history.
It's
And just like
so
you said,
that's
I don't.
it's
Sorry, go
so
ahead.
proof of, from what I understand, I could be wrong. Proof of history is just another way to do proof of stake, in the sense that the way it works is kind of the same. So you still have validator nodes that validate the transactions. However, the criterion is called proof of history because they have something with timestamps. So, but there's still some validation going back, and those are validator nodes, just like in proof of stake. So I think, if I might be wrong, but I think it's a variant of proof of stake. So from that
I
perspective, I
No,
think,
I actually read something slightly different. I read that it was a mix of proof of work, proof of history, and proof of stake. So
yeah,
that,
whatever, yeah.
yeah, so it's not a variant in that sense. It's like an enhancement or built on top of proof of stake, so to say.
Yes, yes, but
Um, but yeah, we're
I
going into the
yeah, I think,
weeds.
yeah, I think the main aspect of proof of stake, at least for me, is having the decentralization aspect, having validator nodes which confirm the transactions from certain points of view. And it's different from proof of work, where there is actual computing being done. I don't think there's any computing being done in Solana's proof of history. So I think that's why I think it's more similar to proof of stake in the decentralized and validator node style, proof of work where calculations are made. But again, I could probably learn more about it.
Yeah, and exactly to my point, and that's the question that I'm posing to you and anybody listening. Like, what are the odds of this happening simply on say Ethereum, when proof of stake gets rolled out properly, and the Bitcoin Lightning Network gets rolled out? Is that something that could happen on there, or what are the reasons why it couldn't happen?
I don't think it would happen for Lightning Network. I think for Ethereum proof of stake, I think there's, first off, the transaction fee will be a blocker for it, because it will still remain relatively high. It won't be low because it's minting new Ethereum tokens. So from that perspective, the cost is pretty much, it's never gonna be 5 cents. It's always gonna be something more. It's probably not going to be 50 as the peak was now. I think it will be capped at 15 or something like that. Whatever. The point is that it might not have the same security vulnerabilities, but we'll see, I guess. You know what? Actually, and I asked you this in the chat today regarding Solana, and again, it's not bashing, it's just discussion, is what happened to their decentralized applications while the chain itself was down?
They
And
were
this
all on
bugs me.
standby. They were all on
Dude,
standby.
I
It's
yeah,
bad.
see, so
Yeah.
that's fucking bad, dude. Like, again, and it's not
But
bashing,
so
it's like,
is but so is when any other blockchain due to DDoS attack or anything becomes extremely slow. Because I'm sure there's been other cases where a blockchain didn't shut down, but was so slow that, because this whole thing lasted 17 hours. So I'm pretty sure that there's a story of another blockchain at least being
sure,
out for
sure, sure.
17 hours.
But yeah, but congestion is one thing. Uh being down is a totally different thing. Like, and I'm not even sure how the transactions which were actually valid got processed. That's actually, if now that I think about it, that raises even more questions about the immutability of the chain itself. So, for example, if we had the 400,000 transactions, there had to be some real transactions mixed with those. What happened to those
How do they
transactions?
tell? Well, if they identified that the attack was coming from a specific place, then they could probably differentiate. But that is true. You can say that that is even more centralized then, because they know who.
Yeah,
Because you
and
shouldn't know who. But then again, it is the blockchain, so you know the address. You don't
yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
know the identity.
But that again, being able to single them out and cancel them, that shows granular control of the
True.
transactions, which
True.
is what can
Yeah.
and if it doesn't, the question is, what did they do? Did they shut everything down and let it process in the background? Okay, that would be one. I think if that's the case, probably that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is them not processing those specific transactions, because that means they can do it. The even worst case scenario is rolling back the whole blockchain, like through a snapshot. I'm super curious regarding these
What's
aspects,
happening in
because
the background?
yes,
Yeah.
because it will tell us a lot about the architecture and the way it operates. But dude,
I
this
actually
sorry,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, I
go.
actually know somebody that was in that was in a Solana in a room where all of the validators were sort of working sort of hand in hand to get the blockchain back up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can send you screenshots if you want. Like they
Yeah.
kept trying to do it and like things were failing and stuff like that. All of the validators were in that Discord and he's sending me screenshots of it. It's crazy. Um
Nice. Interesting.
um
Yeah. But
yeah.
I'll just say this, just as the thing. Yeah. This is not for the purpose of bashing Solana, but the thing is, I just realized like crypto is complex enough, but now that there are so many fucking dimensions to this. In the sense
Yeah,
that
this is essentially world building that these guys are doing. Like
no,
this is
I'm
yeah,
talking
the
about complexity. Like, there's so much
yeah.
complexity in each of these blockchains, and yeah, they have so many vulnerabilities and attack vectors and specificity in all of them. So yeah, it's kind of impressive, because yeah, in a sort of abstract way, you think, oh, all blockchains are the same, or they just have this and that. But no, like, you go deep down and they're fucking different, dude. Like, super different.
Yeah. And I think you have
But yeah,
we like to bash the current system quite a lot, fiat system and so forth. And I'm sure there's often outages at banks and other institutions and so forth. But just engaging with crypto, you understand how complex these things can get, and you wonder how sort of impressive and how much of a feat it is to even transact the way we currently are, like across borders and so forth. So
yes and no.
I guess that's a shout out to capitalism.
Yes, I think again, yes and no, because this is, I think I read about this, like I told you, with the blockchain with snapshots. Like, banks take snapshots of their status every day and shit like that. So if anything happens, they have snapshots from the previous day or the previous hour. And then, just like we said, you can single out individual
Yeah,
transactions.
obviously.
So it's being centralized and being structured. It's not that hard to do certain aspects. So yeah, it is impressive. It's definitely impressive. I think crypto is even more impressive. But yeah,
Yeah. Obviously, crypto's more impressive. I was just saying in terms of like globally, as a
yeah,
planet, not even as a country or anything, but as a planet, that we can have different currencies and different sort of value systems and stuff like that and still transact with them without the entire thing sort of breaking down in some way.
yeah.
It's kind of impressive. But yeah, we we deviated quite a bit of legalized robbery here, I guess, but this is
But
for
I
the
think it's
crypto
interesting.
nerds.
Yeah, I think
It's
this was
certainly it is.
deep up. Okay, you wanna move to the next thing?
So yes, so now on to some shit that's a little bit more legalized robbery theme. There
Okay.
is a new super squeeze, gamma squeeze, in town, and they're saying that this is GME AMC levels. Excuse me.
Okay.
I shall break down the play for all the degens. So it seems like someone is trying to corner a market, a specific market, right? The uranium market. Now, uranium obviously is used to sort of put on rods and then be used in nuclear reactors to fuel them and so forth. And the essence of it is energy. You know, energy is what we use to do shit. You know, everything that we do in the modern world is powered by energy. And you know, like electricity is so it's so underrated, I guess. It's so important that it just falls into the background, so to say. So this is the fuel of sort of society, so to say, and the modern world. And um there's sort of different ways to get energy. Uranium is just one of them. And from all of the data that we have available today, we know that the most carbon um, friendly way and easiest way to generate almost infinite amounts of energy is through nuclear reactors. Obviously, as a society, especially in the West, we are incredibly biased towards it. And there's quite a few hurdles that we have to sort of go through to and do due diligence on to find out that that we might have been wrong on some aspects of it. And it's quite to some people it probably is quite controversial, but I'll just run through a few things that I've learned the past few days just watching that market, and why it could be interesting. So like I said earlier, someone is trying to corner the uranium market, pretty much in the same way that Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, is psychopathically committed to buying Bitcoin. Somebody is buying up uranium. That somebody is a company called Sprott Physical Uranium, and they have been buying uranium from its lows up until today, where it's trading at multi-year highs. And I think it's $47 right now. Um, and its high was, I think, right before Fukushima. It was around $140 or something. And just yesterday, there was the first ever 100 million flow day. So it was the first ever day where over 100 million flowed into uranium in a single day. This Sprott Physical Uranium investment fund um, b- can be considered a market mover, as they are purchasing incredible amounts of uranium. I think up until now, they've already purchased 14% of the entire output of 2021. I think even the global output, if I'm not mistaken. That's quite a lot. 14% of the yearly global output of something. um, and there's a lot of sort of forces coming together. You can check even some of the highest uranium stocks, and none of them had negative returns up until, I believe, yesterday when the general market went down and took them down with them as well. Um, what's happening is that a lot of hedge funds were betting on the uranium market coming back up after Fukushima, the horrible sort of meltdown in Japan. Um, and a lot of them bought the lows all the way up until today, where the market has rebounded quite strongly and seems to be, going on a bull run. The bull thesis for this is that we have all misunderstood nuclear, and it turns out that radiation leaking and contamination is quite rare. It's not very common for modern nuclear reactors. The plants that this happened with, such as Fukushima, they weren't actually built with safety in mind. They had some safety aspects of it, but they weren't from the ground up built with safety in mind. We are now on third generation reactors, which offer something called passive reactor cooling, that allows for worst case scenario, preventing meltdowns. And people always think of Fukushima when nuclear is the conversation, or Chernobyl. But all of these things, like I said, they have been built without safety in mind. All of the modern reactors are built with safety in mind. And this gets me to the sort of the biggest takeaway, and where I was actually shocked, is when you put this into perspective. To get the energy of a single nuclear power plant, you would need, now listen to this, 430 wind turbines. Okay? 3 million solar panels. 3 million solar panels. 3 million solar panels.
Yes, dude, I know.
Holy shit. Okay? A nuclear plant requires just 1 square mile of space, right? A wind farm needs 360 times that space. Solar panel plants require 75 times more space. So
Yep.
all of this is shocking, actually, if you think about it. And all we have currently is a lot of nuclear plants being shut down and coal mines being powered back up.
The question is, sorry for interrupting, where are they getting shut down?
In Germany.
Where are they getting started up?
In China and Russia.
Well,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
when you do things because people just fucking shout at you and you're being a retard. Yeah, you'll shut down the most efficient way to produce energy because there's some people shouting at you. Okay, good job, and powering up coal plants to supply that lack of energy. Because why the fuck wouldn't you, right? Dude,
Yeah. And you know what it is? It boils down to either just downright dishonesty or intellectual laziness. And obviously, people can go into conspiracy theories and whatnot. But there are some special interest groups that are lobbying against nuclear and are sort of doing this fear mongering. And it is also weird that we have so many movies that sort of look at worst case scenarios of this thing. And as a society, we really have something ingrained. And it's weird that the sort of the best solution out there is being continuously blocked in that way. And that is quite strange. So just to continue on what I was saying, some countries understand this, and ironically, countries that are right next to other countries that completely gave up on their nuclear reactors, such as like Germany giving up completely on their nuclear reactors, but France powering 70% of
France don't give a fuck.
their country with nuclear is so
Sure.
weird.
Smart.
Yeah. And the US, apparently 20% of all of the energy comes from nuclear or anyway. So it's really weird. Then to continue this whole thing, shutting down your nuclear plants automatically increases your electricity costs. When Japan shut down all of their plants after Fukushima, apparently their energy costs went from 0.17 kilowatts per hour to one. So that's like almost a five time increase in energy usage. Recently, the UK um, had to power up their coal plants because they weren't getting any more wind for some reason. So the wind turbines went unused, which is also crazy. Now, now that we've settled those crazy sort of facts about nuclear usage, we can jump onto the uranium market. The uranium market is tiny. It is ridiculously small. And somebody on the Wall Street Bets forum was joking that it is so small that the Wall Street Bets Reddit, if they really were aping into it like GME, they could own 10% of the world's energy supply if nuclear was then used, which would be
Oh,
incredibly funny and ironic.
yeah, it would.
So, and the other thing is, uranium is one of the commodities where there isn't an entire industry of traders, hedgers, and all kinds of just degens trading in it, like oil and steel and whatnot. So there's a huge opportunity there, and COVID obviously changed the market in different ways because as COVID started, um, production was reduced dramatically, and there was quite a few mine closures for some reason. So all of this lends to the idea that there will be um, a sort of shortage of them in a time where you will need them the most. Because you think about how many countries have pledged to the climate agreement. How many countries in the past few months have said that they're planning to go net zero? How many floods have we had? How many fires have we had? This is really a rush to becoming um, net zero. And if you really think about it, what has a sort of chance other than nuclear to do this, knowing what we know today? So the global view, particularly in places that are not the West, such as China and Russia and so forth, is quite positive, and they are building nuclear fleets. Even developing countries, they understand that it's cheap, it doesn't pollute, and they're just hauling it. India, Slovakia, Belarus, Pakistan uh, have plans and are planning to build um, more next year. France is expanding its existing plants, and China is just on some crazy shit, like breakthrough after breakthrough in this field, and it's getting like scary.
Yep.
So, if you compare this to other forms of energy, you see that hydro. And mind you, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know too much about hydro. All I know is that comparatively to nuclear, it destroys some ecosystems apparently through its usage. Wind is good, but troublesome in the aspect that it takes so much space, and the production of wind farms and wind turbines is also CO2 emissions. And then the problem is also you cannot control the wind. The wind is not as reliable as the sun. The sun shows up every day, literally.
Yeah, you can have some clouds, but yeah, that's not the point.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Um,
even I believe even on cloud, well, I don't know the
I
facts on
think
that,
there
but
is some absorption, but it's
it's
lower.
minimal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um but yeah, in for the most part, nuclear always comes out on top. And Yeah, I was gonna do a little bit of the beer case after this, but yeah. Any thoughts?
Yeah, a lot of them. So yeah, dude, for the nuclear debate is not easy. I've seen a lot of videos, I read a lot of things about it. I actually had it with a lot of people. Well, not, I would say a couple of people. There are risks to nuclear, and yes, when it's bad, it's much worse than other forms. However, the statistics don't lie. It's not worse than other forms. It's like the thing with travel. Yes, when an airplane crashes, 150 people die. However, on
Right.
the streets in Romania, 2,000 something die every year or some shit like that. So no, airplanes are not more dangerous than cars. You would be an idiot to think that. However, yes, the discussion is nuanced. But uh, the point is, at this, and obviously nuclear has some drawbacks. Yes, you need uranium, you need to empower it, and then yes, you produce some waste, which actually is kind of not cool because there's nothing you can do with it. And yes, for example, US has been fucking putting them in barrels and putting concrete over them and tossing them into the ocean. Okay, that doesn't sound good. However, yeah, the point is, it's hard to tackle some of them, but I've seen, for example, some of the Nordic countries actually come up with some systems. I think I sent this to you, maybe, or you sent it to me, I don't even know. But it was about the way they were storing nuclear waste, and it was something with an underground container which is contained, and it halves in some time, so it was good. So there are people thinking of solutions, but it's never a good idea to lock lock the wallet, not the wallet, dude, the drawer, and throw away the key. That's stupid. That's what stupid people do. If this is one of the best forms of energy generation we have, you never throw away the key. You find ways around it, dude. We're a pretty smart species. We can find solutions to problems. Boycotting some shit because, yeah, there you have some things going on in your head is not cool at all. And like you said, most of the countries you mentioned that are actually advancing nuclear right now, they're not aligned with our values, let's say, like China and Belarus and some other more niche countries, Pakistan, Russia. They're not aligned with our views. So the question, we might be too soft, but if they win the energy race, maybe they're going to rule the world, in the sense that, because again, the thing with nuclear is, yes, you need uranium, but other than uranium, you don't need shit. So from that perspective, and you can get a lot of uranium. So it's, yeah, and you don't need wind, hydro, or solar. You can produce a lot of it. But yeah, the point being is, nuclear should be looked into, and we should not give it up. And I have been holding some uranium stock for a long time. I'm holding Cameco because that's the only one I have access to. But yes, I have been holding it for a couple of months now, because if the EV revolution continues, it cannot continue without nuclear. We cannot produce enough electricity to power EVs without nuclear. And using fossil fuels to power them would be such a fucking stupid idea, dude. And it would just literally prove all the conspiracy theorists or whatever were like, oh, they're also going to use gas to power them. That would be a fucking tragedy to see EVs getting lost because they refuse to use actual renewable energy to power them. And nuclear is the only way to do it. You cannot.
Absolutely.
Solar is moving fast. I think wind is not reliable. I think hydro is quite scarce. Solar is moving fast. Solar will be a solution in the future. It is a solution now, but it's not at the scale of nuclear. So as long as we don't do any stupid shit, we should use nuclear. So yeah, that's my point of view on the whole situation. But
Agreed. I I just think yeah, it's a shame that the importance of it can get lost by just fear mongering.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So
but
sorry.
I still wanted to I still wanted to touch on the beer case.
Yes, one more thing I just want to add here regarding you mentioned who would have interest to boycott it or fearmonger. Obviously, the fossil fuel industry, because we fucking need the energy from somewhere. So whether you have gas, petrol, whatever you have. Oh, I've seen actually, for example, gas. People are like, oh, gas is better. Yeah, it's better than petrol. It's still worse than fucking nuclear. So what the fuck are we talking about? So from this perspective, they have all the interest in the world to try to sell more natural gas until we run out of it, right? And then maybe not stop nuclear from growing. So yeah, those are the people who have interest in not making nuclear work. It's quite simple.
Did you know that the biggest lobbyist, the biggest sort of anti-nuclear lobbyist is Greenpeace?
No, no, I don't know.
Just Google it. Google it. It's really
Oh, I
interesting.
believe you. I
You'll
believe
see
you. I believe.
a bunch of articles just by Greenpeace on the dangers of nuclear. Like a lot. Like surprisingly much. Really weird. Super weird. But guess who else is one of the biggest sort of shareholders of solar companies?
Greenpeace.
Yes.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense as well. So there you have it.
Yeah, man. All the alpha and legalized robberies being dropped. You're
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, make up your mind on what that means, whatever that means. This is not financial advice. Neither is this a political channel. I just find that interesting. That's it. I just find that interesting, the aspect of
It
it.
it makes sense in the sense that yeah, there are like a few green technologies, let's say, and yeah, solar is one, nuclear is the other, and yeah, you can put hydro in there because actually, regarding wind creates a lot of waste, which is actually unrecyclable. You cannot recycle wind turbines. Actually, you cannot do shit with it because it's made out of some carbon fiber or something that's unusable. You cannot recycle it. So wind is quite problematic. So I would say solar, hydro, and nuclear is there. So it would make sense for solar to kind of combat it a bit. But I'm sure gas and oil is somewhere around there.
Yeah, this is super interesting. Primarily, I think is interesting because your instinct will tell you that it is primarily the fossil fuel industry that is lobbying against nuclear, but then in actuality, there is fractions within a space. Like renewable energy as a sector could be competing against each other and out competing in terms of just lobbying power. So
Hmm.
not even in terms of what is productive or what makes sense, because this is the funny thing about it, that it's a weakness of capitalism in that sense, that it can also drive us to inefficiency due to lobbying. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Of
we
course.
say that the market we say that the market decides the winner, yet if somebody lobbies effectively, they then become the winner. The market
Yeah.
didn't decide that
Sure.
necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets tricky in that sense, but there's only so long that you can run like that. There's only so long that you can run inefficiently, especially if your enemies are closing in on you. With China, China is not just building nuclear reactors; they are advancing the science of
Exactly.
fusion
Yeah. That's
while they're
that's
also creating. And this is the killer sort of thing about it. They're not just competing on one vector, they're competing on all kinds of vectors. So yeah. But here's and that's primarily also the bear case for it. The bear case for it is that pro nuclear doesn't have a pro political stance. There is not a political movement that is pushing pro nuclear. There's only a political movement pushing anti nuclear. And that could be the bull case for it, that there's just not enough lobbying done by the nuclear industry itself, and it doesn't have even in society, it doesn't have a popular stance. Like it took
Mhm.
quite a while for EVs to become popular, to become trendy. you know and I don't
Yeah,
even know how electricity can become trendy, or how forms of energy can become trendy. All I know is that we have a lot of movies that showed us what happens with nuclear meltdowns, so we have some type of ingrained bias in that regard. All you can hope is that the people that know better do better. and
that's
and
that's the
and there's
thing,
there's
dude.
there's some victories, there's some victories happening. I think some places have sort of won court cases. I think I'll add them on here. I think Illinois was one recent one, and then there was one in Brussels. But a lot of really sort of random different places are fighting and have pro-nuclear stances, so who knows.
Yeah, the only, yeah, I agree, and I know what you're talking about. Nuclear is not popular in any way. The only way we will actually get to nuclear is if there's some courageous people who take some courageous measures, or if I'm not sure if this expression exists in English. In Romanian, is somebody is pushing your head with the door by your opponents, in the sense that if China gets to some sort of energy dominance through nuclear and it's not already too late, yeah, people will wake up. America will wake up, because you cannot fall behind in energy. Like, yeah,
You
okay, you
cannot.
have chips, you have technology, but if you don't have energy, yeah. So it's hope. It's basically hope that the right people will take the right decisions. It's hard to have hope nowadays, but yeah, you should have hope. But that's the only
Yeah.
way. That's
So
the only
that's
way.
one bear case, for example. And the other beer case, or sort of beer reason, if you want to call it that, is that there might just be more uranium than is to our knowledge, or sort of available to our knowledge. And that could be for all kinds of reasons, because I believe the OECD, which is a sort of governmental body of sorts, puts out a report every 2 years reporting on uranium usage, and they claimed that there's significant capacity for nuclear. So it could be the case. These are kind of things that are not documented as thoroughly as you'd imagine they would be. Um, so yeah, and yeah, the other thing is uranium is discovered as well, right?
In what sense?
In the sense that they could just find some in some country,
Yeah, of
like
course.
they could
But
find gold.
yeah. But I'm not sure how the prospecting mechanism works for uranium. But I was actually speaking to somebody who was doing prospecting for Petrom, which is now
Hmm.
owned by OMV from Austria. So he was talking about prospecting. It's not easy. Like, it takes years to try to find some leads, and then going and getting permits and digging and finding. So from that perspective, you won't have double the uranium availability by next month, even if a uranium craze starts, because you need all those approvals to start prospecting and searching for them and shit like that. So it would take months or years, even if you had the clue, if you actually go there and find some.
Right.
Now, if somebody was holding back some information regarding availability of uranium, that's a different story. But you won't have some uranium today and then tomorrow discover another storage which is super big.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
I think every story always has a sort of primary market moving figure, because in even the Wall Street Bets thing, they had this like sort of local vigilante. What's his name? Something with a cat.
Something with the cat.
I forgot his name. I'll put him on here,
Yeah,
man. He looked funny. He was really cool, dude. I wonder how he's doing. I hope he's doing well.
I,
Um,
I
but
want to
yeah,
say Crypto Kitty, but that's not it.
Kitty something. Yes, Kitty something. Um, yeah, there always seems to be in these movements. There always seems to be one particular
Roaring
market
Kitty.
mover, Roaring Kitty, that's him. There always seems to be one particular market mover, and in this case, it is this guy that is really in a crazy fashion. Is I said this guy, this investment fund, Sprott, that is buying ridiculous amounts of uranium.
Mhm.
That is telling you with such a conviction that it tells you that they're really trying to get in on something that there isn't much of. I think Elon actually says that contrary to popular belief or something like that, nuclear is actually good. Like he thinks there's perfectly safe ways to get nuclear power, and he actually mentioned this in relation to Bitcoin. And a
Mhm.
lot of the critique of Bitcoin is its heavy energy usage. Well, one of the solutions to that could also be nuclear power, especially for energy intensive uses. And given that nuclear power is, almost an infinite source of energy, that kind of thing could very well boost it. So I thought that was a really
Sure.
interesting aspect of it as well. But another big case was that thorium could be used instead. That
Mhm.
uranium might just be an outdated sort of form of a commodity to use for nuclear, as some newer sort of nuclear reactors can also use thorium. But yeah, then there's this idea that that might just be a rumor, as thorium is very very new, and I won't claim I know how all of this shit works. I'm just a sort of layman getting in on a 100 bagger. You understand? Thank you very much. This is the bull thesis and beer case.
Yeah, regarding thorium, I don't know if it's like 100% interchangeable in the same reactor. Like it is a form of nuclear energy or source, but the question is it is it 100% interchangeable with uranium? And I would find that hard to be the case because nuclear elements are quite different from one another. I would imagine you would have to have some different things, maybe. So
Mhm.
yeah, maybe that's not such a liability. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I think this is enough on that subject.
Sure.
We will add all of the tickets into the
Yes.
description. Obviously, do your own motherfucking research. This is not financial advice, but
Yes.
it would be good if you
If
got in on
let's
this.
let's just say if you make money, we can send you a Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana address where you can send us something. Let's just say that.
Yes. Or you could decide not to and just have fun being poor.
I think you inserted this on purpose. I got a feeling.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes. When Lambo, when Moon. Anyway,
Soon. Luna.
tell us about Cardano.
Did somebody say Luna? What? Luna? Yeah, no,
Luna,
maybe
Luna.
next time.
Next time, man. 100 bagger. That's all
I
we
don't think
discuss
it
on the
has the
show.
market cap to do 100x, but I think there
100
might be some
bagger.
potential. We'll see. So, regarding Cardano, and you want to do Apple event after? That's the last thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't have much to say
Okay, we'll just discuss. I have some input,
on
but
that.
not a lot. Anyways, um, with Cardano, so the whole thing. Okay, so Cardano had its Alonso hard fork. Basically, they have smart contracts. Everybody's happy. Some people sold the news. It just recently today started pumping again. It dropped surprisingly not that much for buy the rumor, sell the news thing, because usually, yeah, it could be much more aggressive. It wasn't that aggressive, so I'm happy. I was holding some extra just for trading purposes, so that's good. Yes, but before it launched, there was an issue with a decentralized exchange, which was trying to do some Cardano swapping, and yeah, the whole news came out that, oh my god, Cardano smart contracts are not usable, this and that and whatever. Basically, because what I understand, my interpretation of it, and not just mine, but some other people I read who were talking about this, is that uh, exchange, you program smart contracts or operations internally. So from the perspective is, if you're trying to do a singular operation on the Cardano blockchain, if you try to do it in one way, it's going to have some results. If you try to do it in other ways, you're going to have different results. And from what I understand, basically the way they implemented on the Cardano testnet their smart contract operation was exactly the same as you would do it on UXTO model. So as a backstory, I didn't know about this. I had to research it. Cardano uses almost the same accounting model as Bitcoin, which is either a bullish or a bearish thing, whatever. And it's different from Ethereum. So in my hopefully good understanding, Ethereum uses like a balance accounting model in which A sends to B. After it settles, only then you can do a different transaction, which makes it probably one of the reasons why it's slower. I'm not sure if, for example, Solana uses something else, but that's the way Ethereum does it. However, with Bitcoin, they use UXTO, which is unspent transaction output, which is a bit more complicated, and it has some more limitations in the sense that you have to wait for the transaction to happen and for the balance to settle, and you at the input you add the amount you have, and at the end you have an output of the remaining amount, and that has to get sent back to the user or something like that, which is slower than the Ethereum, probably why fees are also big on Bitcoin and whatever. And Cardano is using something super similar. However, if my understanding is correct, what Cardano is using is closer to Lightning Network in the sense that you can chain operations. So if user A sends to user B and then tries to send to user C, they have some. The protocol is called extended UXTO, unspent transaction output, in which basically at the end of the first transaction, you still have the sum left. And if you have enough, you can process another transaction without settling the initial balance. So from that perspective, again, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a bit similar to Lightning Network. It might be like a hybrid between UXTO and Lightning Network. But basically, people have successfully done chained transactions like this. So there isn't a bottleneck. But the problem that came from that swap was because they tried to use it like Bitcoin, like send it, UXTO, wait for it to settle it, and then send another one. And I think the whole settlement phase, I think there's like a few seconds of you're not allowed to do multiple transactions. So basically, the way it would work is with Bitcoin, you send from A to B, and then you cannot send another transaction for 20 seconds. I might be butchering this, but this is what I understand. The difference is with Cardano is that after the first transaction, you can try to attach in the intermediary step another output. And if after the first transaction, there is enough balance left, you can still do the next transaction. So it's a hybrid between the two models. So it's not a full settlement going back to the root account, but you can have intermediary steps. So yeah, but this is my understanding of it. But other than that, the smart contracts are functional. I'm not sure if you've seen. I think what's that called? I think Polymarket, the guys who are doing odds and betting, right? Do
Yeah,
you
they
know it?
betted against. Yeah, they betted against
Yeah,
Cardano and lost the bet.
and lost the bet. And and Charles Hoskins made them actually donate $50,000 because that was the bet to a charity he decided for. But yeah, the point
I
is,
mean,
at
yeah,
this
go ahead.
point they're confirmed to be operational, and it's fine. I'm not sure about transaction output yet and shit like that, and what's the actual thing. But the main issue is that the main conclusion is that it was successful and they're operational, which is good by all means.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long explanation on one. I understood like 20% of what you said. Maybe it's also because I'm slightly tired, but I would be primarily interested in one thing, and that's why I think a lot of times you can circumvent a lot of explanations by simply using it. So I'm wondering, have you used it? Yeah. Do you have a Cardano wallet?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Oh, you have a Cardano wallet. Okay, okay.
yeah, of course. Yeah, and I'm
And
staking it. Yeah.
you're staking it on one of the
Yes.
services.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yes. Of
okay,
course.
okay.
But the thing is, I just wanted to say from an interesting bit of information is that in terms of proof of stake, we discussed proof of stake and how it works.
Yeah,
70% of all the Cardano in circulation is actually staked. So from that perspective, regarding the whole decentralization and having enough of the network to support it, it's quite active. So it's a really good aspect.
I mean, yeah, of course, because just like Bitcoin in a sense, because it didn't have DeFi, um, the, all you could do on it was stake.
Yeah, sure. But at
So,
this moment,
but
it's not just whales hoarding it, because again,
true,
staking is like a liability in the way that you have to have it in a validator node, right? So from that
true,
perspective, you have some risks, and some people don't stake because of risks,
yeah,
unless. But yeah, so the main point was that it's not just people hoarding them; it's actually people hoarding them, but helping the ecosystem, making
yeah.
it quite decentralized. I think that's a positive note.
I would just really be interested in just going on a Cardano sort of a service built on Cardano, using the wallet, seeing how it interacts, seeing how long it takes, compared to other sort of things I'm using. So I think I might actually just give it a shot and do that because I hold a little bit of Cardano, not nothing uh, like major, but I do have something Cardano. I would just like to play around with it because I never hear people talking about a Cardano wallet or any sort of service like bridging
Hmm.
coins and stuff
No,
like that. I just
sure.
don't hear about it, but I think it could just be my own bias. And
No, no, no. Truth be told, the ecosystem is not very powerful. It's not big now, but it's
so
not
how does
big
it
now.
feel? What is the UX? What is the how does it feel like?
I don't know, dude. It's just a wallet at this point. Like
No, I
again,
mean,
there.
I know the wallet, but I'm talking about the services on top of the wallet, like swapping stuff and oh, it doesn't. My bad. It probably doesn't do that yet, right? Like swaps and
y-
liquidity pools and
y-
farming and stuff so forth.
Obviously, yeah, you would need what's it called, the decentralized exchange for that.
Yeah,
So yeah, so far
ADAX,
it's yeah, dude.
ADAX.
Did I tell you? I think I told you, right, dude? It's I don't know what's going on there, but
So there is no DEX properly for Cardano, right?
no, there are multiple of them being built at the moment. But yeah, if you think about it, it would be
How is that the third biggest coin?
I don't know. But the question is, if it's the
You could
third
say the same
biggest
about
now,
Bitcoin in a sense too.
but no, but
But
dude,
there
think
is
about it.
Bitcoin DeFi.
Yes, but think about it. If that's the third biggest now, what's gonna happen
When
when
they
it
get it.
actually have some ecosystem behind it? No, I'm
How
genuinely
about
asking.
how about the people that are closing that are widening the gap even further for Cardano in the future?
What do you mean?
I read a tweet going Cardano still runs even though it doesn't have a smart contract. Solana still runs even though it's shut down, and some other coin didn't do something, it still works. And he's like, that's just crypto.
But dude, think about it. Like Cardano, if regarding what we spoke earlier with Solana and proof of history versus proof of stake, if it's quite interesting. If Solana doesn't have proof of stake, but it has proof of history, which is substantially different than proof of stake, Cardano is one of the first, if not the first proof of stake smart contract chain.
Okay.
Think about it. Because Ethereum, it's still proof of work. It hasn't done the transition. It has smart contracts, but it's not like that, And it is decentralized in the sense that, the plug hasn't been pulled until now. So Cardano might be one of the first in this class of proof of stake smart contract.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah,
I have yet to use their services, so for me it's like it's really hard to put that much weight into it when there's nothing like really tangible in that sense. Because
sure.
with Solana, I can tell you right away, I use Phantom Wallet, right? I use
Yeah.
the fucking Phantom Wallet, fucking beautiful. UX is great. Transactions are fast. I go onto one side, it's more beautiful than the other side, and it just keeps going. It's just beautiful, you know.
I also
And
have it.
it's like a seamless experience on the web. And I think we can do a lot of talking, we can do a lot of strategizing and tearing down and building up and finding sort of USPs of products and whatnot, but nothing beats actually using it and liking it. So that's the thing I was wondering about. And in my mind, there's nothing stopping Cardano from doing that. They have the ecosystem, they have the vision. The vision is incredibly strong. For Hoskinson, yeah,
Hoskins.
Hoskins. So the vision is incredibly strong. So I can imagine there's a few developers that could really get behind that and build their own interesting projects on it. But it's just that I have yet to see that sort of manifestation of really beautiful Web 3.0 websites and apps and so forth. Because this is something I'm really curious about now. Like, what is genuinely the nicest UX with great, coupled with great tech, and one of those things actually is called Zapper.fi. I'm
Yeah,
not
I've
sure
heard
if
of
you
it.
know them, but
I've
it's
heard of it.
incredible. Bro, you have to try this as soon as we get off this call. You can connect your wallet, whether it's a MetaMask, like a lot of different wallets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it will tell you not just how much you have, but with logos next to it and everything. Then you go on your history page and it shows you all of your transactions, whether it was on a different blockchain, whether it was on a different site. It shows you all of the transactions that happen on this wallet. It gives you liquidity pairing options. It gives you pools, farms, whatever yield, and it just is so seamless. And what I found impressive with it as well is that when I switched from because you can go on Uniswap, you can go on SushiSwap. you won't have any of these options. You won't see previous history um, of what you did. And also, if you're trying to use like a layer two option on Ethereum, like Arbitrum or Polygon, oftentimes on the other DEXs, it doesn't even show you that until you sort of switch networks inside of the MetaMask wallet.
Hmm.
But this site, it shows you all of it. It shows you how much you have
Interesting.
on different layer two. It shows you how much you have staked on other sites as well. Oh, that's another genius thing, right? It shows you how much you have staked on other sites and liquidity pairs that you have on other sites if you're using the same wallet to do so.
Interesting.
And this is
Interesting. Yeah.
incredible. So that's definitely something to check out also for the listeners. So
Hmm.
I automatically hopped on to the next topic, which was this. So Zapper.fi, if you're trying to sort of diversify your game out of exchanges and just see what DEXs, decentralized exchanges, can do, I would definitely check out Zapper.fi. And there's loads of YouTube tutorial videos on what you can do on there. And yeah, it's really good stuff. Another thing that I thought was useful sharing with people is bridging. If you go on, because this is something that you've sent me multiple times, right? If you go on Ethereum and you're trying to use 1inch, you're trying to go on Uniswap, SushiSwap, and so forth, and trying to use things to switch back and forth,
Hmm.
it might be worth you connecting your wallet to a bridge that bridges your Ethereum to Matic. When it then is bridged to Matic, you can go back on Uniswap or SushiSwap and do what you were trying to do again, provided that Matic has sort of implemented the pairings and all of the coins and so forth. And Matic has in a lot of cases.
Hmm.
So the difference then is that when you do try and do the same transaction again, that was costing you loads on Ethereum, it will be quite a lot less and it will be faster.
Hmm.
So all you have to do is just find the site to use that bridge and take your Ethereum to Matic. Then you go back to Sushi or Uniswap and do whatever you were trying to do. So that's a really good thing. And I just recently tried this. I never actually tried this before because I it's funny because I always talked about the benefits of Matic and so forth. But when you actually use it, you realize how good it is. So I actually the first time I used it was with Arbitrum. I used Arbitrum. I used Arbitrum is a layer two solution, just like Matic, by the way, and I abridged some Ethereum into Arbitrum
Hmm.
to swap it on a new DX to be eligible for a airdrop.
Okay.
Literally just did that, and
Hmm.
then bridge it back. And that's when I realized that this is like a crazy cheat code that
Hmm.
I don't know like people realize how great it is that you can do exactly the same thing that you were trying to do um, on a DX after you've bridged it to Arbitrum for
Hmm.
like 10 times less the amount that you initially tried. So definitely play around with it.
I'll try to do
Um,
that. Yeah, that sounds good.
mhm.
But
If there's any,
sorry,
sorry, go
go.
ahead.
No, no, you go. You go.
If there's any coins that are not available, a few ways to find out how to get sort of cheaper transaction costs is by checking ETH notifications. There's a app. It's called Gwei Notifications. GWEI. This is a weird name. I don't even know where it came from, but this is sort of what's used for the gas prices.
Yeah.
And you can set up notifications that when um, Ethereum gas prices go to a certain point, you get notified, and from that point, you can then go and do the same thing that you were trying to do at a much lower fee. So we'll add this into the description as well. Then,
The pro-
sorry, go ahead.
the problem is that when these fees, for example, on 1 inch are $100, I don't think that's directly correlated to the Ethereum fees. I mean, I'm sure they're correlated, but that's not it. Like Ethereum fees are $5. I'm not sure where the $95 are coming from, to be honest.
Congestion.
So,
It's congestion that it comes from. Whenever the market is congested, they increase the prices. That's the whole point. That's why the prices go up when NFTs are being sold.
yes, but
And also,
you can check,
it's large payments.
but you can check the GUI amount and or the dollar amount. And again, when Ethereum is at $5 for the fee is $5, it's still $100 on Uniswap. You know,
No, that can't be right.
it is. It is. You can try it
That
now
can't
if
be
you
right.
want. No, it is. That's what I'm saying.
No, because
It's not.
but I've used it multiple times, so I know it's not true. The amount is always different. The amount, it changes by the second. I can go on MetaMask right now and see.
Of course, it fluctuates, but it's
Yeah.
not the transaction fee you're paying on Uniswap or 1inch is not the Ethereum transaction fee. It's something else. Because the Ethereum transaction fee right now is $5. You can check it. And if you try to exchange something on Uniswap, you'll see what they prompt you for. And it's not $5, it's $100.
I will. You know what I'll try and do? I'll try and bridge something thematic and then try the same thing. And I can
Okay.
promise you, it's different. I've never paid anything over, I believe, like 15 $15 on any of the exchanges, whether it's Uniswap or SushiSwap. After I bridged to Arbitrum.
No,
So
I'm not saying with Arbitrum, I'm saying without, just normally.
okay.
Anyways, you know what I did? Because I actually, so regarding ADA and Cardano and everything, I bought into, beside ADAX, which is or isn't a scam, I bought into another ADA project, which is called ADA Pad, which is supposed to be a launch pad for ADA projects, which is a form of decentralized finance where people come there with their projects, and basically the users, they stake some ADA or ADA pad to support them, and you get back some of the tokens, whatever. It's a launch pad, right? It's a launch pad for Cardano projects. And I actually started, I bought some of that and I started staking it. However, you know how I did it? Through the Binance Smart Chain, because they actually provided a Binance Smart Chain interface as well. And yeah, the fees were 25 cents. It's not Solana level fees, but 25 cents is fine for an
That's great.
exchange. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Binance Smart Chain doesn't get enough credit, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's really
again,
great.
I'm using PancakeSwap, and PancakeSwap is awesome. Like
Yeah.
Also, and another thing,
I
and I'm not just
Go
pushing
ahead.
Binance Chain because I like it, is because it's they're worth it. On Binance Smart Chain, you can move around BUSD with zero fees by design. Zero fees from any Binance Smart Chain address to another, any amount of BUSD.
Okay. I didn't know that.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fucking
really good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever, if you need to buy something and it's available on BSC, you just need to buy BUSD and you can change. You can send them everywhere you want. But yeah.
hmm Yeah. I actually bought something through PancakeSwap as well. It's a coin called XPNet.
hmm
And they are basically well, it's full name for XP Network, and they have quite a lot of interesting sort of big institutional backing. But the main thing that they're actually offering is a blockchain agnostic NFT ecosystem, meaning it allows you to send NFTs from all of the different blockchains to each other. And it sort of flows freely. And the issue that they've had so far is that, for example, on OpenSea, if you're trying to get any NFTs, it will sit on OpenSea. It will sit on the network of Ethereum as well. But now you had Polygon NFT projects. You have Avalanche. You have potentially Cardano. I don't know. Solana,
There
Tron.
are
All of
there
these.
are NFTs on Cardano already.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
But you have all of these NFT projects popping up everywhere, but they're completely locked inside of their own blockchain. So this service then allows all of that to be bridged, and it removes all of the barriers basically. So I invested a little bit in that, and that was done through PancakeSwap.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, I can definitely confirm, and I think the fee was really low as well.
Yeah. It's again,
So
I've seen fees from 25 cents to 40 cents. That's just as the biggest I've saw. But yeah, for example, and let's just do another interesting things with another discussion we usually have is comparing market caps. So potentially, if you look at the Ethereum, if you want Solana, if you want Binance, if you want Cardano, if you look at the networks, they all have big decentralized exchanges. So potentially one of the bigger plays in the next future is identifying a decentralized exchange for Cardano. It could be easily 100, maybe more X, if you find a project that will succeed. Because all smart contracts have it, and all big chains have it. And a decentralized exchange that supports it.
yeah, true. Since Cardano didn't have that before, it's probably a good idea for them because
Yeah.
what
Yep.
the total addressable market could be. Because
Yep.
Ethereum has them, and that for the most part they're already established. You look at Uniswap and SushiSwap, how much capital they're demanding and wielding is pretty incredible. But at the same time, that's not necessarily where the 100 baggers are going to be.
Yeah,
But yeah,
sure. It financially cannot do another 100x because it would be bigger than the host network or 1/3 or fourth of it, which doesn't make sense. But what it
yeah,
can do is, if you identify the next opportunity or the next chain that will blow up, you could probably find a decentralized exchange that will reach the proportion level of, for example, let's say PancakeSwap to Binance Smart Chain. So this is a huge opportunity because Cardano is very loved by the community because, like you said, it basically didn't have a lot of functionalities and people still bought it, mostly probably because of Charles Hoskins. But now that they do have some functionality and there's a lot of them, a lot of hype in the market, surely a decentralized exchange will blow up. Getting in on that might be, I'm not going to say life-changing, but no, but seriously, dude, think about it. Like
sure.
putting in $100, $200, $500, and if it does 100x, that's not bad, dude.
That's something.
Yeah. I just a funny tidbit. I was seeing this guy on Twitter. I'm following. Whatever. He's like, I want to make wife changing money. and I found that quite funny. Yeah. I was like, that is the pinnacle, right? Like wife changing
money. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you everybody for listening, and we shall see you next week. Peace and love.
Yes.
Peace.
Nobody move and nobody gets hurt. This is a stick up by Jerry and Adrian, the Legalized Robbery podcast.